I always say that. What's something that we can celebrate with you today? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Yeah. You know what I want to celebrate? Actually,
Yeah.
we're just going to go right off of that. I want to celebrate that I used to really celebrate Fridays because it meant that I had the whole weekend off. And it was because I didn't actually like what I was doing Monday through Friday. And now to me, I get to celebrate a Friday. It's kind of just like any other day. I'm like, I love what I do. I love my life. And so like Friday
Every day
is,
is Friday.
yeah, like Monday's actually my favorite day of the whole
Yes.
because that's when everybody's starting. I'm like, yes, let's rally for Monday, you know? But Friday
Yep.
to me is like, I'm excited to get up and do some work tomorrow. I'm excited to go live my life tomorrow, and I love what I do. So I'm celebrating just loving every day of the week and loving that I'm not happy that it's Friday because I get to rest for 2 days.
I love that. And I love it because I'm like you, I really don't care this Friday. It's a habit that I just do because everyone else hates the other days. And so you've just put it in perspective for me, like I need to stop doing that because I really don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that when we stop, because I was that way for a long time, I was like, everybody's like, Happy Friday. And I'm like, hey, yay.
Happy day.
Like, can I support you in loving what you do more? Like, is there a way? Like, do you want to take your day off tomorrow and we can talk about what really fills you up? Because I used to do that, and now I'm just like, cool, Friday's Friday, you know, like, I'm like, so.
It's so true though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that. And a Monday is like my favorite day too, because that is when everyone is gearing up to like go after their goals or like really set intentions and like go after it for the day.
Yeah.
And I love Mondays.
Yes. Same. Everybody's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, you know, I'm not crazy. I may seem crazy because, you know, we're not supposed to love Mondays. Mondays are like start to the whole week. And I'm like, yes, it's a start to a new week.
It's a fresh start. Yeah.
Yes, I know. I love it. I was
That's
talking,
awesome.
technically, you know, y'all, Sunday is like the written start of the week. And so for me, my week does start on Sunday because that's my day of like that night really preparing for like everything that I'm doing on Monday and just like really being like, hey, I'm open to whatever this week is going to bring. Here are my intentions. Let's do this, you know, and actually kind of get like my game plan together. So, and I think Mondays I just feel ready after being prepared, like take a couple of hours just to like really prepare myself for the following week and reviewing my schedule and getting into the flow of like the people I'm going to be connecting with and being open to, you know, I mean, we didn't know that this was going to happen today. We were like, yes, we're open. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So it's so
seriously
fun.
No, and everything that you're saying is spot on with me too. Sundays are my day of preparing. And I really like go through and it's my Sunday ritual that I am working on what are my goals for the week ahead? What am I working on tomorrow? What, you know, laying out the plan of like where I can fill in time blocks for amazing people that I connect with on the spot and like, you know what? I want this now. So backstory guys, like Miranda and I just connected yesterday, 24 hours ago. And we had so much in common. And with that, like we were actually just really connected. And I was like, okay, it's going to sound really weird, but like, what are you doing tomorrow afternoon? Like, I want more.
I'm in, girl. Yes, let's do this. Saying yes is so powerful to things that feel good. Like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the amazing part of it too, is like having the space that we can just say yes to the things that feel good, that feel right. And they're meant for us. It's not that we're supposed to. We talked about that a lot yesterday, and you talked already about it, how we feel like we're supposed to be excited about Friday and we're supposed to hate Mondays because we're resting those other 2 days. That goes back to kind of what we're going to talk about in your story and all the things that we're supposed to be doing that, you know, we can break those chains and make our own decisions with that stuff. So I'm super excited. And before we go on, like, I want to give you a little proper introduction and just give people a little insight on who Miranda is. I'm super excited that you're here. And thank you again for just like being like, yeah, let's do it.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Yes. Oh, yay. So excited. Okay. So Miranda is 36 years old, mompreneur. Wouldn't know that. And she lives her passion by empowering women to be the empress of their empire through healing, celebration, community, and connection. As a lover of life, she enjoys everything from reading to running, salads to champagne, Netflix, and chilling on the couch to hopping on a plane and everything in between. I love that so much. It is so stinking true. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Your intro, I was like, this is genius. This is so good. So many people can just like, yes, you want balance in your life. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a difficult, people are like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm present, I'm here. But if you want to talk about all the things that like, while I'm present and being here that I love to do, I never know how to describe myself. I really don't. Because it's like, I'm not one end of the scale and none of us are. Like when we truly begin to like really dive into who we are and the things that we love, we're like, oh wait, I love this and this. These two things can exist. The paradox
we were put in boxes. We were meant to be like, we were taught to be put in boxes and like, this is what it is. But I love what you're saying about like, it's not one thing. That's why people like us are out of the box, right? Like we don't want to just be one thing. Right. Why can't we be all the things and be passionate about them?
Yes, that's such a better question. Like, why can't I be all of the things? And why can't I do all of the things? And why can't I love all of the things?
Yep.
So I love that.
So much. I love it. So Miranda, we're going to be talking about fear, and we're going to be diving in, and you're going to be sharing a little bit about, a time in your life when fear held you back from living your life fully and what that looked like. So before we start that, like I always love starting with something that's relatable. And I looked at your questionnaire and I was like, you're so fun. So what, if you want to share that or not, whatever comes to your mind on the fly, that's cool. But tell us something interesting about you that you want us to know.
I will share. I don't have a favorite color. I feel like it's the most common question. People are like, what are your favorite color? And I'm like, well, what chakra am I going to align with today? Or like, what element am I like connected to today? And I'm like, I don't have one because I love every color. I just don't have one. So people are like, you have to have one. I'm like, I don't have to have anything. I don't have one.
More standards that we're supposed to live up to, right?
Yes. Oh, all those supposed to.
I love it. I feel like when I've heard people say like, I don't have a favorite color, they're just like rainbow. I love all of them. Like, give me all of them.
Yeah. I really like, give me a color and I'll tell you why I love it. Like if you give me a color, I'll tell you why I love it. But I can't tell you what my favorite color is.
That's awesome. What about brown? That's the first thing that came to my mind. What do you love about brown?
What? So there's like brown and like shades of tan. I have this sweetest tan sweater that I'm like, ooh, and I love brown. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of dirt.
I knew you were going to say that. I so knew you were going to say that. The second I said the question, I'm like, this woman's going to say dirt.
Yes. I'm like, oh, it's like earthy dirt. And I just think of like having my hands in it and planting or my feet walking through the woods. So yes, I love brown.
Oh my gosh, I totally knew it. I was going to say it, but I was like, let her answer. I got you. I love it. That's so fun. You guys, let us know in the comment, what is your favorite color if you have one? I would love to hear that.
Yes.
I love it. So, all right, that's always fun to just kind of get going and hear a little bit about you and get an insider. And so we're going to transition to talk about the fear side of things. So when was that significant time that you thought of, right? Like when I asked you the question, where does your mind go about a significant time in your life when fear did hold you back from living your life fully?
Yeah, so it was actually just 2 years ago. I got offered a position at a job that, again, I felt like I had to take because I was supposed to take a job that was safe, right? I have a family. I have 2 kids. I'm a single mom. Like, of course, I'm supposed to take this job that has benefits, that has its salary. The work is honorable work. It was really important work. But it was not aligned with me and what I wanted to do. And actually, I think the thing that was the most scary for me is that I recognized it as a pattern of fear. I was like, oh, this again. Oh, I'm allowing fear to hold me back again and have me working at a job 90 hours a week, not seeing my kids, right? So maybe, this thing that I was supposed to do was allowing me to pay my bills, right? But it was taken away from the people that I was supporting. So
yeah, it
was terrifying. I was more concerned with the clients that I had at this job and my employees. I had 37 employees and, working with government agencies and at-risk youth. And it was like, really, it was needed work, but for me, it was just not aligned. And I was terrified to go out on my own. And in fact, I didn't even allow myself to have time to do things that aligned with me. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was so stuck on the supposed to and the things that I was conditioned to think that I had to do. You know, my family was so proud of me. Also feeling a little fear right now because speaking about my reaction, my family's reaction is a very real thing for me. Talking about the things that I was conditioned to believe, still something I'm very much working on. So fear is a real thing. It's always around. It's always
here, stepping up to the plate, stepping out and sharing your story, even though it's unknown. And I want to point out that Miranda is new at doing this and sharing this, like she's saying, like this is a real thing that's happening for her currently.
Yeah, this is like right now. This is very, very present. I said I am present. I am present in my fear right now, sharing that my family was so proud of me for having this position. And I'm a 36-year-old woman still excited that her mom and dad are proud of her. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's just like, but again, I stayed in that position for a lot longer than I looking back, it's like, oh, there were all the signs of like, go. This isn't right. But the fear is what kept me there.
I guarantee that there's at least one of those youth people that you were in contact with that you completely changed their life, and maybe not even knowing it. Like, there's a reason that you stayed there. There's a reason you showed up there. There's a reason that it was as long as it needed to be.
Yes.
And you learned that this is absolutely not what you wanted. So there's something there. We may not ever know what that is.
Yeah.
But the fact that you were doing it is important work, but it wasn't passion for you. It wasn't in alignment with really what you're meant to do, not what you're supposed to do.
Yes. And I do know that to be true. Some of my all of my employees who work there actually realized how big of a movement I was, and they no longer work there. But while they held a whole conference after I left because I was the one that my employees could come to talk about how scared they were for these kids, how scared they were for their lives working with these clients. And
you're gonna make me cry. I'm like,
yeah, one of the it was really interesting in this because I did, like, what you were saying is not something that I even believed to be true right when I left. I was hoping it would be true, but I didn't really know. And then, you know, like 2 weeks after I left, I got sent a questionnaire from my ex-boss, and it was like a leaving, like, and it said, what was your most memorable day at work, working at this position? And I said, a week after I left. I said, because that is when I knew that I made a difference. It wasn't until I left that people felt comfortable speaking up for the change that I made in them, and then also the clients.
Wow.
So yeah, it was powerful. But then again, it was like, I really did the right thing. Like, by leaving, I did the right thing. I allowed other people to say, we deserve someone who listens to us, and we deserve someone who we can speak to. And so it was good. It was actually really good.
That is so incredible. Like, you must be proud of the fact that you were courageous enough to take that first step and show people the way, which is quite literally, I believe, what entrepreneurs are created for, is to show other people that there is something else instead of just doing what we're supposed to be doing. And you're a living, breathing example of that. And like, I'm like, my heart is so like, oh, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I barely know this woman, you guys. I'm just like,
thank you.
Oh, it's so amazing.
Thank you.
That is so cool. Wow. Okay. So when you were breaking free from that, right? Like, so I'm looking at my next question, like, when you're breaking free from that fear of like, oh, I have to have this paycheck to help support my kids and our house, like all of these things, and the adulting, which sucks.
Yeah.
And you're moving in, you're getting ready to like move into that new direction, and like the things start shifting. So when the shift was happening for you and you said, enough is enough, I see something different, how did the relationships and your friendships change, or did they improve? Did they decline? Tell us a little about relationships for you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. The really beautiful side of me making that shift is, one, the people that were tangible to me, the people that I could call, and the people, you know, they were, especially from being somebody's boss, you know, now I'm their friend. And so those relationships to this day are still growing. They're still there. It's amazing. These people are doing beautiful work. My kids, my relationship with my kids, that was almost like a given, that they were so proud of me for the work that I was doing, but they're so happy right now that I'm doing this. Like, they're just like, yes, mom, you're growing, we're growing. My family we don't talk about what I do. I left and they don't ask me what I'm doing. My dad does. My dad is like, he actually called me during COVID and was like, I don't really necessarily know all that you're doing. I just want to make sure you're okay and if you need anything. So like my dad and my stepmom are like, they're real cool with like everything. My dad said, I'm so proud of you because I didn't spend enough time with you guys when you were growing up. So that relationship has grown.
Wow.
And I just I truly believe with everything that I am and everything in this universe, that because I made that shift, it just sent out this ripple of like, okay, she's ready. And so the universe just continues to send people to me that support me, that I can support them. It's like we're raising the frequency, you know, we're just like expanding together. I mean, I truly believe that this is why we're connecting, you know. It's just like, so yeah, my whole life and my relationships changed. Relationships that were kind of based on what they were supposed to be based on. Oh, I've known this person for a long time, so of course I need to stay with them, right? Those have started to just naturally fall away, not with any sort of anger or resentment, but with love. Like, we're just not aligned with each other right now, and so we can support each other. So yes, everything changed in like the most amazing way.
Yeah, I think that is such an incredible thing for everyone to hear, like how much the universe opens for us to really get what we want and help the people that we really are meant to be helping when we release the things that are really not serving us, and we aren't showing up as our best selves if we're not being authentic to that. So like, was there a defining moment, or like what really compelled you to jump ship from saying like, yes, I'm gonna go do this job that I know is good and I know I can have a paycheck? Like, was there any like really profound moment? Like, did your kids say something that dug really deep, or an incident at the workplace where you're like, ugh, never again? Like, is there something that you could tell us that was why you decided to step forward in courage?
Yeah, I had been kind of going back and forth about leaving, and every time I was like, oh yes, this is the time, I stepped back. When I got called into a meeting, I have not like recalled this day really. I got called into a meeting before I was leaving, and it was with 3 people, and one of them was my boss. And she said, so we're going to give you 2 options. They said, we're going to demote you because you're not a leader. You are not the leader that we need for this position. We think that you don't know how to communicate and work with your employees, and your employees are not feeling comfortable with the way you're running things. And so I had asked for examples. I'm like, great. So the policy here is that if an employee has a problem with the manager, then they go to their manager, and then we come together, and you other 2 people are supposed to HR, and then the counseling, like we're all supposed to meet together so that we can talk about it. And I have never received any such thing. So, you know, I would love to know when we can set that up. And they're like, well, it's too late for that. So they're like, so what we want you to do is we want you to work on this though, but we're going to pay you way less. And it was a lot. And they're like, or you can just leave and we'll give you very, 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 very small, you know, thing to leave. And I was like, okay. So I left. And I was like, I know that I'm meant to work with people, and I know, like, that was just what I needed. It was like, you know, one of the things that I think I wrote in the questionnaire was about motivation and what's the word? I can't even think now. I'm so like
That's okay.
of desperation.
Yeah.
And it was like, I feel like I was almost desperate for the answer. Like I needed the call. I needed one final, like I was feeling like I was grasping at straws. Like I was desperate for that last thing to just be like, this is enough. And that was it. Being told you're not a leader, you're not, and I'm like, I've ran Fortune 500 companies before. I know for a fact that I can work with people and that my employees love me. I knew that I scared them because I gave people a voice.
Yes.
And I'm okay. If that is not welcome in a place, I don't want to be there. And so that was like my last thing. I'm like, well, the whole point is to give our clients and our employees a voice. Like we
Yes.
need them to speak up so we know how to become better and learn. And so that was it. That was like, okay, I don't need to grasp for anything else. I got the answer I needed. I'm out.
You literally, we are kindred spirits. Like you literally just told my story in a nutshell of being wrongfully fired from a job that basically they fired me for perception. They told me I wasn't smiley and cheery enough to be in customer service. And yeah, so there's a whole thing with that. But it really just compelled me to be like, screw the man. I'm never working for the man again. I will decide when I am done,
yes.
when I am finished with the project, when I think I'm failing now, like I will decide that because
yes.
that was garbage.
Woo, chills.
Yeah.
Chills. That was it. I was like, I will never, ever in the rest of my life have somebody who believes in hierarchy in a position of power tell me that I'm not good enough for working with people. Like, I just know I am. So like, you don't get to tell me that anymore. Nobody ever gets to tell me that anymore. Ever.
That's right. Yes. Oh, I just want to hug you.
I know. I was like this. I was like, oh, let's hug.
And we're both in Wisconsin. We didn't even say that. Miranda's in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm so used to like having out of state and out of country people that like, which I love. But when we connected, she's like, oh, I'm in Green Bay. I'm like, Wisconsin? This is amazing.
It's so cool.
So we will get to meet in person for sure.
Great. Yes.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So yes, there's another thing that we connect on for sure, like to the core.
I know, right? I love it.
I love it. So so the next thing I would love for you to like share is, what, if any, advice would you give to the viewers that are thinking about, maybe they're in a position where the same, they can relate to your story at some degree, right? And what would any kind of advice or a tool maybe that helped you or currently that's helping you stay consistent with that, like any advice that you want to share with the viewers, I would love to hear.
Yeah, sure. I think for me, the biggest thing is I'm always about heart-centered and soul-driven. And so asking yourself questions like, is the work that I do, does it fill me up every day? Do I feel on purpose when I go to work? Am I able to be creative in my work? Am I able to use my voice at work? And by no means am I saying completely quit your job, right? Like that's definitely not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that if your job isn't filling you up in a sense where like you just feel so on purpose every day and you don't feel like it's aligned with what like it should give you energy. Your work should just like bring you energy, right? It's like you're plugging into your energy source when you're doing the work that you're meant to do. And so it's like, okay, am I plugged in or am I not plugged in? And if you can ask yourself those questions, and even if one of those questions is no, it's maybe it's time, not maybe, it is time to start to get to know yourself more, because we have enough time in our days to do at least something that fills us up. Yeah. And so if you're feeling like, oh, I've always wanted to help animals. Okay, well, if animals are your calling, well, go volunteer at a shelter. And if that fills you up, like your passion is going to come to you when you actually start tapping in with what is heart-centered and soul-driven for you. Because when you're not doing that work, it's heavy, it's tiring. Like if you're tired, that is not living. Like it's time to plug in. Ask questions, ask yourself questions, challenge yourself, ask other people questions, have other people ask you those same questions. Grab your friends and say, what am I really good at? When do you see me get fired up? Like you get to be supported in finding that out too. So here's your support system.
I love that. I love that so much. That's how I got on the path of empowerment photography. That was something that asking the questions like, Becky, what do you want to do with the rest after I was fired? I had a couple months of like reflection. I was like, I'm not just going to find any job. And then my bonus dad was like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? I'm like, I'm 22. Like, I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
And photography was the only aspect of my life that I knew brought me joy. And I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even have a professional camera. Like, I just knew that one piece of me that I was like, I enjoy doing that.
Yes.
And took that and ran. But like, we have to keep asking those questions, right? And then when we do get a no, and we're like, no, I'm not, then the next questions are like, well, what could you do today? Because we are present right now. Like, what is one tiny step that you could take? Just like take it. Like you said, if it's animals and you go to a shelter, like that is just one step. Even just pick up the phone. And I want to encourage you guys, if you are feeling inspired right now in this conversation that's happening, make a decision right now to do one thing. Don't care what it is. Pick up the phone, write down a goal, like do something to put you in the action while you are inspired right now from this story. And I'm telling you, like, it will change the way that the momentum is happening with shifting in your life to like whole new levels. Like, I feel like that is like the biggest secret is take an action when you are inspired, not just like write it down and be like, hey, that felt good.
But I tell everybody, I tell myself this, I tell my kids, my clients, everybody, I say, you do not leave the scene of inspiration without taking an action, ever.
Yes.
You're at the scene. This is the scene. Like, you don't get to leave and walk away without taking an action step. Like, you don't get to say cut. Like, the scene isn't over yet until you take an action. Like, that's.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love it. You and me, sister. I'm telling you. So great. So great. I love it. Okay. So, something I love. So I'm a visionary. I love to look, I'm good at, staying present, but I'm really good at like, okay, where do you want to go from here so that you can stay on the right path and be connected to your vision of what that is. So Miranda, you have tools in your life and you saw like the opposite of what you want, and now you know what you want. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years from now?
Yes. Okay. So this is so fun. I just have to say, my daughter's graduating high school this year, and my son graduates high school in 5 years. So it will be the first time, you guys, I had my daughter when I was 18. So my daughter's like the age that I was when I gave birth. So I've been responsible for other people for half of my life. And 5 years from today, literally my son will be graduating high school and I will have no children in the house with me. Like, it's so crazy to me. And that's why this question just like lit me up yesterday. I was like, I need to stop typing. And I just kept typing when I was answering. But I know that in 5 years, I will be traveling the world with people I love, culture, connection, with land, with people, with cultures, with food, with artifacts, with art, with, the land. Like, there's so much history. Like, that is something that I know I will be doing 5 years from now. And I know that I'll be able to do the work that I love from those places because my work is connecting with people.
Yes.
That's it. I can work from anywhere and I can work with anyone. So it's so beautiful. I know that, okay, I'm really putting this out there as a very vulnerable 36-year-old single mother. I really am going to be so madly in love with a man who just like, I don't even want to talk about falling in love. I want to rise in love. Like, I'm ready to be and grow and rise in love with the man. And I know that's going to be happening. I know in 5 years that I will be all over. Like, that's really like my vision for 5 years from now is just me being everywhere with people that I love, doing more work that I love. Because yes, I love the idea of making consistent, 5-6 figure months in business, because that it fills me up, because I know that money makes you more of who you are. I love money. Like, I'm going to say this. I think that I was conditioned to think that money was this horrible thing. Money makes you more.
That's another supposed to in our life.
Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute. One, like, if I'm having consistent 5-6 figure months 5 years from now, I get to have that scholarship for single moms that I want to have. I get to help small businesses, hire on a manager for somebody who probably hasn't been given a chance after they've gotten out of the system. There are things that I am so excited to do that I know by staying consistent with what I'm doing now and keeping that vision and taking the small steps there, that 5 years from now, like, my world is going to change because I get to change other people's lives. So exciting. So
yes. Ah! I love it. I love when someone's, what was that?
No, I was gonna say, I'd like the beginning of my intro. I'm like, I will be reading the books and I will be drinking the champagne and I will be Netflixing on my couch. I will be doing it all those in between things every day of my life. That's what I'll be doing.
Oh my gosh. I love you so much. This is so awesome. I can so appreciate when someone reads that question and they like deep dive. Like you just declared a lot of amazing things for your life that are just not there right now, but you know they will be, and you're gonna move with the tenacity to know like that is what it is, and you're gonna put it out there, right? So many people are not brave enough and courageous enough to just say that what they want and to know that, or even to question it, right? Like that's why I love asking the question, is to maybe someone doesn't even think about that. So I want to encourage all the viewers, like think about 5 years from now, like write down the name of your kid, or the ages of your kids, what age they'll be, what stages of life you, your partner, your kids, your parents, like what stages will the people that you love be at in their life? And you can be manifesting the whole world, your world around you in a beautiful way, exactly like she just depicted. Like that was amazing. I'm so excited like to be connected to you within this last week, and like you're not getting rid of me. We're gonna be besties.
We're like this now. We're like this
oh
now.
my God.
You know, one of the things that for anybody who's watching this, one of the things that helped me actually get into the zone of being able to actually like see it is feel it first. Like when I close my eyes, I can feel what it feels like to look across the room at the man. Like I know what that feels like. I know what I want to feel like when I wake up in the morning doing the work that I really am, that I'm doing. You know, I know what I want to feel like. And so if it's hard for you to actually see like the colors and the shapes and the textures and that stuff at first, just get in the feeling of it. What does it feel like when you open your bank account and there's a deposit for $5,000 because you helped somebody become more of who they are? Right? What does it feel like when you're holding the hand of somebody that loves you so unconditionally? Like you might not be able to see the person, but like, what does it feel like to hold their hand? And because it was difficult for me at first to actually see it. Like when I was making a vision board, it was all words at first because it was all feelings. And then now you can see mine, and mine are like pictures and words because I can put them together. But for anybody that it's hard for you to actually see it, like go inside and feel it first.
Amazing tip. I love it. Where is the best place for the viewers to connect with you, Miranda?
I am going to say my social media is where I'm very active. My Instagram, and mostly my Instagram and my Facebook. My website as well, although that is going under crazy construction. So I feel like I'm always working on that, but social media for sure. I'm very active on Instagram. I am active on Facebook. Those two platforms are definitely where I reside the most. And I love hearing from people. Like engagement is my favorite thing. I'm always like asking questions and commenting and asking for people to like let me know what they think. And I'm all for any opinion. I'll have a conversation with anybody. So yeah.
Yes. And then is your handle just your name?
So it's Miranda A. Werkheiser. Yeah, my middle initials in there. Instagram is Miranda _A_ Werkheiser.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
We got that.
Yay.
I love it. Seriously, thank you so much for your time. This was incredible. I just love you to pieces. I have a girl crush, you guys. Like, this is great.
Am I red? I'm like,
so great. No, I love it. Thank you again for your time. I'm going to cut this off because we're going long, but like, I'm definitely having you back on here. This is fantastic. You have a lot of amazing nuggets to share with everyone, and you're not afraid to, you know, give people a peek in like what you're really going through yourself, which I think is a huge thing for someone to know, that they can connect with someone, is that you're vulnerable in the fact that like you're going through it too. So I totally appreciate that myself.
Thank you so much. This has been so fun. Thank you. My first
You're
vlog.
so welcome. Everyone that's watching, remember to love yourself and live fearlessly. Thanks for watching, everyone.